Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about distance time graphs, also sometimes referred to as displacement time graphs, usually shortened to DT graphs. They show the motion of an object that is moving in a linear path either forwards or backwards and display that motion in the form of a graph. I'm going to show you a story first as it plays out live, and then we'll make a graph of the story so that you can see how this tool can be used to represent all kinds of stories of motion. First, let's be introduced to our subject of today's story, which is Paco the squirrel. One day, Paco the squirrel was sitting in a field of grass when across the way he saw a delicious-looking acorn. Being a squirrel and therefore wanting to eat the acorn or perhaps store it for winter, he moved forward a little bit towards the acorn, and then because he's a squirrel and they do squirrely random things, he stopped and sniffed the air for a moment, and then remembering he was going for that acorn, he moved forward towards it again. All of a sudden, though, he heard a sound. There was an eagle flying by, and it terrified Paco, so Paco ran backwards to his original starting position. Taking a moment to gain his confidence, he then ran forward towards the acorn once more, celebrated for a moment, ate the acorn, and then his last moments where we saw him in the story is he ran backwards to his original starting position and then went somewhere, off screen where we can't track his motion anymore. So that's the story of Paco the squirrel. Now we're going to tell that story again in a moment using this new tool called a DT graph, and so I'm going to show you what a DT graph might look like and how it's constructed. Usually involves an x-axis and a y-axis, just like any other graph, and the thing that we measure moving on forward forever is time. Time is this dimension of our universe that allows us to track events in the past, present, and future. So that's always going to be what's on our x-axis, is measurements of time. We'll measure seconds today, and we'll very simply move from 0 to 10 for our values. On the y-axis, for this to be a DT graph, it needs to have displacement on the y-axis. We'll define displacement in a moment, but for now we'll just mention that 0 displacement is going to be in the middle of our y-axis. We'll have positive values for displacement above, negative values below. That's important is that it is possible in a story like the ones we're going to tell to have a negative displacement, depending on what's happening. So this is a DT graph. And what you could do is you could plot various points on this graph, and those would represent times where an object was in a certain position. So, as a reminder, a DT graph shows the displacement of an object at any given time, and as a refresher for what displacement means, it basically means the position of an object with respect to its starting point. So let's use a DT graph to retell the story of Paco the squirrel, and I think you'll start to see how this all fits together. This time I'm going to leave little markings on the ground here to show the distances up to 5 meters, and we'll see the story progress. So one day Paco was sitting in the meadow where he saw an acorn across the way, and so he decided to move towards it. So in this case you can tell that he walked 2 meters forward, and it took him 1 second to do so from that little line that was just drawn on the graph. What happened next in the story? Well, next, Paco was a random squirrel, and he did random squirrely things, so he just stopped and sniffed the air for a while. And you can see a flat region has just been created on our DT graph. That flat region shows that in that second of his journey, he did not progress forward or backward, he just stayed in the same position, so his displacement was staying the same. In the next part of the journey, he walked forward again, and now you can see that it was an additional 2 meters. Now from the graph, you can see that after these 3 sections have taken place, he now has a total displacement of 4 meters from his original position. What happened after this? Well, he heard an eagle go by. The eagle scared him, and so he ran backwards. So we actually had 2 things happen there. We had him pausing while he watched the eagle go by, and then we had him running backwards at a pretty high velocity, faster than he was before, because he was running away from the eagle. So notice that the line went down in that case, and that's because he was going backwards rather than forwards. So on a DT graph, now you can see that when you go down, it means reversing, it means backwards, or in the negative direction is the more accurate way to say that in physics. What happened next? Paco took a moment to build up his squirrely courage, and so he stayed at a displacement of 0 meters, and then he charged forward all the way out to 5 meters of distance, where he was able to celebrate for a moment and eat the acorn, and then he ran backwards beyond the starting position where we can no longer track his location. So what you're looking at here is a completed displacement time graph, or DT graph, and it shows different mountains and valleys. Each mountain represents a time when Paco was very far along in his journey, and each valley represents where he was far back at some point in his journey. And then those dots in the question mark isn't something you'll really see in a DT graph, but it's standing there to represent that there's still motion that could be happening along Paco's journey. We're just no longer tracking it. So we have no idea what he's up to these days. We only know what he was doing in that 9-second period. So that's a DT graph. And what you could do anytime you come across a DT graph is sort of invent in your head a story of what kind of motion is occurring here. So if you wanted to, you could pause the video on this slide and make your own story for the blank DT graph that I'm giving you here. All I'm providing is the x-axis and the y-axis and a couple lines. And you could make any story that you want about an object that's moving forward and backward at different velocities. So like I said, feel free to pause the video here and make up your own story, see what you can come up with. So the last thing I want to talk about today with DT graphs is the fact that you can use a DT graph to figure out the velocity of the object in question at any moment of its journey. So looking at this graph, can you tell where Paco was moving the fastest? Can you tell where he was moving the slowest? Can you tell when he was moving forwards? Can you tell when he was moving backwards? This all relates to the slope of the lines that you're seeing. If you remember that the formula for the velocity of an object is velocity equals displacement divided by time, then you'll recall that on a displacement and time graph, we have the two sets of information that we need in order to calculate velocity. So for example, in the first section of the graph, we could see that he travels a displacement of 2 meters in a time of 1 second. So we could pretty easily calculate his velocity. It's 2 meters per second. How about when he was standing still because he was scared of the eagle? Well, there he was traveling 0 meters in 1 second. So his velocity is 0. And then lastly, what about when he was moving backwards after having eaten the acorn? Well, he traveled backwards 5 meters in a time of 1 second. So his displacement there was -5 meters, negative because he went backwards in the negative direction. And so as a result, his velocity will be negative as well. So you could take any section of the graph, plug in how much displacement change there was on the top in the numerator, and then divide that by how much time it took for that phase of the graph to occur, and what you've got is the velocity of the object. And that'll be a handy skill for you to use in physics. So I hope you enjoyed this explanation of DT graphs, and I hope it's useful to you. I'll see you in the next video.